Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. We are so glad you've joined us. You know, for some of you, you're joining us live when we stream at the moment, but some of you are joining us on YouTube, so we're really glad that you're here. In fact, if you haven't done so already, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert, and subscribe, so that way you know whenever something's posted, and we post something every single day. When something's posted, you can go back there and watch it at your leisure. So again, we're so glad you're here. Let's welcome our guest artist today, Deanna Bogart.
Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you, Dr. Joe Hooper and the wonderful staff at CSL for having me. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you're getting the good stuff from the not so good stuff. Here's a song of mine called Where the Well Never Runs Dry, and may our spiritual wells always be full to the top. Slow when I'm waiting for the tide. Now I've always believed that whatever I need is somewhere here inside. But lately I just don't have enough. Or is it just that I gotta go deeper where the well never runs dry? Well, I've run out of days and I've run out of ways of how to get to you. Love will have to stay hidden, tucked away, where it still gets to be true. But even then, the boat up ends when it looks like goodbye. And you gotta go deeper, where the well never runs dry. Anyway the wind blows, you can hear forever, anywhere a spring flows to. Any place the world goes, love can make it better. Drop by drop will do. Well, I must be fond of the road that I'm on and the way I'm getting through. It's been a bit of a drought, there is no doubt, where all the signs are pointing to. So it's time to let go and dig down below, and I'm willing to testify that you gotta go deeper, always deeper, yeah. When the well never runs dry, where the well never runs dry, yeah.
Good morning. Here is what's happening this week at the Center. Back by popular demand, Monday at 10 a.m., Dr. David Alt and Dr. Joe will have another lively hour discussing tools of transformation. Tuesday, join Dr. Joe and Dale Olansky as they discuss her book, To Faith, Finding Solace in an Uncertain World. Wednesday at 10 a.m., it's the Sensational Six. Join our 6 ministerial students who all passed their written exams and are one step closer to becoming ministers, discuss the daily use and application of spiritual principles. Then on Thursday, Moving Through Grief and Loss, Sheltering In with Dr. Joe and Gail Morton, as they gently open up for a discussion about grief while living through this current experience. Then on Friday, back by popular demand, Dr. Joe and Dr. Laura join this spiritual dynamic duo as they expand our teaching and share experiences leading to demonstrations using powerful science of mind strategies. Saturday, it's meditation time. Join us as we walk through a guided meditation experience, opening the door to greater peace and happiness. So mark your calendars for 10 a.m. daily. Join us and grow your mind and your spiritual practice.
All right, now that we know what's happening around the center and what's coming up in the next week, let's begin to move into the worship portion of our service here and begin with our mission statement to set the tone for who we are, what we're about, what we're committed to. So I invite you to join me together. We are a dynamic, open, and positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our mission is to awaken you to your divine nature empowering you to create the life of your dreams. We are changing lives one heart at a time. So let's take those words, bring them into the internal realm, into that realm where we have that most intimate experience with the Spirit. We know the living Spirit of God is all of life, and that we are truly live in it as a fish lives in water. And we can take that truth, that relationship, and bring it into that intimate, that sanctuary of our heart and our soul, of our being. And let's take a deep breath together, that healing breath. And in that place, we can actually begin to feel and sense the peace that does pass human understanding. There are plenty of things happening in our lives today that we may not understand, but in this moment we invite the peace that passes our understanding. In other words, we don't need to understand what is happening in the world today in order to achieve peace. Right in the center of us now. So as we move into this sacred time of ritual, of chant and silence and song and prayer, I invite us each to nurture that peace, welcome that peace, open the front door of your heart and welcome in that peace. Peace, sit at my table. Break bread with me today. Tell me all about yourself. Inform me of who I am. I'm grateful for this time. I'm grateful for this moment. All is well.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I awake in this holy silence. I hear all that has never been said, and right here in this holy silence I find God when I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I awake in this holy silence. I hear all that needs to be said, and right here in this holy silence we find God when we find ourselves. And I find God when I find myself. And you find God when you find yourself.
There is only one life, the life of pure spirit. The life that is the only changeless, within which tremendous change always happens, but we know we are blessed by it because it happens within the one life and power that is God. One peace, one love. As Bob Marley said, one love. Let's get together today and feel all right. I know that power and presence and love is my life as I speak this word. And as I know it is my life, I know it is the life of each and every one of us, our entire community, individualized and as a collective expression. We are blessed today, my beloveds. I know this because I see it. I know this because I feel it. I know this because I know it. And upon this platform of union, of being unified with that whole presence, I do declare that all is well. I do declare all is well today. That we're blessed today. That any way we're faced with a particular challenge or a struggle, that the living Spirit of God meets that challenge, meets that struggle with an infinite blessed power that transforms our mind, that renews our mind so that we see anew, that transforms our heart so that we feel and perceive life anew, that transforms our soul that we continue to be lifted into our greater good, that transforms our eyes, all of our senses, that in all the ways that we touch life, we're blessed. All the ways that we interact with life, we see the sanctity of life. We see the blessing of life. We see the beauty of life. We feel it. We don't just theorize about it. We don't just talk about it. We experience it. We live within it. We're literally blessed by it to have prosperity and goodness conferred upon us because we perceive life rightly. I'm grateful today. I'm grateful for this service. I'm grateful for this sacred ritual of our community practice together. I'm grateful that once again, we are privileged to gather together, albeit virtually. Our hearts are always connected. I'm grateful. The music, the word, the inspiration for us. I release my word as a law unto itself. I don't send it anywhere because each of us always are at a center in the universe. There's no place to send a prayer. There's simply a way to be transformed by our prayer. Be transformed by the prayer now. For each one of us is a law unto itself. We participate with it. I'm grateful for it. In one word, I call all of it good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Show me the way. Show me the way. Your love will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your joy will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your peace will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your truth will light my way. light my way, and your joy will light my way, and your peace will light my way, and your truth will light my way. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om.
Now take a deep breath in and exhale all the way out.
Battered and torn, still I can see the light. Tattered and worn, must I kneel to find? Friend of mine, what can't you spare? I know sometimes it gets cold in there. When my legs no longer carry, and the warm wind chills my bones, and I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. Hope is alive while we're apart, and only tears speak from my heart. So break the chains that hold us down, and we shall be forever bound. And when I'm tired and weary, and a long, long way from home, and I will shall not walk alone. We shall not walk alone.
Once again, thank you so much, Deanna Bogart, for that beautiful music on this beautiful day. So today I want to talk about transforming a negative. That's the talk title today. I want to go back and review a few things that we've been talking about and then add some more, because I know that as we continue to move through this process, it's like we're building blocks of success. And so I want us to do that today. So here we go. First thing is this. If you have no will to change it, you have no business criticizing it. Last week I mentioned something: for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, but I said the word criticism. And so a couple people emailed me throughout the week, and they were quick to criticize things. And I said, if you don't have a will to change it, then you have to stop criticizing it. And right now it's real easy to lull ourselves into, someone has an idea, I'm going to criticize. Someone, the whole country, the whole world is looking at ideas and how to roll out new ideas. And for every idea, people are criticizing it. So if you don't have the will to change something, then we have to be quiet and be accepting. We have to surrender and allow ourselves to be led. And that's okay. There are times in our life when we lead. There are times in our lives where we follow. So if you don't have the will to change something, then just say, you know what? I'm just going to follow at this point. And it's not a resignation. It's not saying I'm giving up or giving in. What you're doing is you're saying, I'm not going to put any creative energy into this, and I'm not going to be combative, and I'm not going to be confrontational. So when you have a will to change something, then stand up and do it. If not, just take a back seat and don't even put the criticisms into the air. It just makes for a negative vibration, negative energy. And God knows, if you're around some people, you're hearing a lot of that stuff right now. Let's try to support one another by having the will to change something. This is kind of a long slide, but it's worth it to read. The birth of a new state of consciousness is an inner transformation. It is a state of consciousness which no longer depends upon the condition as it appears to be, but instead reaches through the seen to the unseen, which plunges beneath the surface and arrives at the spiritual cause of things. Let's unpack that. The birth of a new state of consciousness is an inner transformation. What I've noticed, and I've been kind of keeping track of the cycles that my friends and colleagues are going through as we go week to week in this shelter end state. But people's emotions are kind of, they sync up to a great degree. And one of the things that I found over the past week are that some people are beginning to retreat. And I'm not just talking about retreat just into silence, but to retreat into themselves and begin having an inner awakening, an inner look at their lives. And that's perfectly normal. I mean, I'm looking at this saying, since so many people are experiencing it, it must be a new normal in a situation like this. We've never been through anything like this, that I'm aware of. I wasn't around in 1918, but I can only imagine that people started having this inner view of themselves. And when that happens, it's an inner process. It's not something that we want to dialogue about. Eventually, I can't wait to see the phase when the inner working becomes the outer conversation, but I'm not there yet. And I know a lot of people aren't there yet. Going right along. It is a state of consciousness which no longer depends upon the condition as it appears, but instead reaches through the seen to the unseen. So that is so brilliant. This is Dr. Holmes. This is vintage Holmes stuff. Dr. Holmes said this: it doesn't depend upon the conditions outside as they appear to be. It relates to what is unseen, the imagination, the ideas, the prospects, the potential of something in the invisible form. That's what this is about. This reflection on the inside is looking at all of those elements, creating for us the ability for those unseen things to make their way into our physical journey, into our manifestation, into our demonstration of our life. So I want to talk about that. It's a state of consciousness which doesn't wrap itself around the appearance of something. Now, that is really challenging to do because every day when I wake up, I think, is today the day where something's going to change? Am I going to wake up and there's going to be some miraculous news and I'm dreaming. It feels like a dream. And I'm thinking, is today the day where something's going to change? And if not, if I wake up and it's the same thing, how am I going to address this day? If nothing's changed, then I need to change how I'm addressing this day and looking at it as if it's not just another one of those days on shelter in. Hope that makes sense. Last thing. It plunges beneath the surface and arrives at the spiritual cause of things. So when we're looking at things in our life, when we go into this introspective place, it allows us to actually light the fire within that is going to be the spiritual cause of something that's going to manifest itself. That is in the process of manifesting purely by our consciousness, giving it light and attention. So, I like this idea. The birth of a new state of consciousness is an inner transformation. It is a state of consciousness which no longer depends upon the condition as it appears to be, but instead reaches through the seen to the unseen, which plunges beneath the surface and arrives at the spiritual cause of things. I love that concept. Marianne Williamson said this: spiritual growth involves giving up the stories of your past so the universe can write a new one. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Right now, I guess I was kind of feeling this way because I went through a cleaning phase where I was cleaning up old pictures and, old yearbooks and found old cards, greeting cards that I'd saved over the years. And I found myself longing for that past, longing for the normalcy which appeared at the time, which actually we're going to talk about was never really normal, but allowed myself to lull into this sense of not just nostalgia, but because it's okay to go there for a while, but I was fixated on it and yearning for something that was behind me. And so spiritual growth involves giving up the stories of the past. In other words, reflecting on them with love and cherishing them, but understanding that the universe is also writing something new. That I can take time to look back at the past and smile and look at these pictures and have these feelings. And then, but you know what? I have to be honest with you. Then I was looking at these pictures, and at times I was looking at that pictures, it reminded me that, while that picture was being taken, I had some real crap going on in my life over there that I couldn't wait to work through, and it worked its way through. So when I was reflecting back on these past experiences, I was looking at that going, hey, you know what? It ended up being okay. It ended up being okay. At the time, I remember thinking, I remember that state that I was in, but it changed, all right? Miracles are natural. The nature of the universe is progressive. Now, miracles in your life, I want to call them occurrences in your life. They're natural. We're supposed to have this awakening experience in our life, throughout our life, and things pop into our life to change the direction and the trajectory. And I believe those things are normal and progressive. Now, at this particular time, it could be a challenge to look out there in the world and go, what in the hell is going on and how is this progressive? But I think it absolutely is. I think the step back that we're taking, and feels like 10 steps back at times, is actually just stretching the bow for the arrow to fly forward into something else. And so when we're experiencing this stuff, we want to know that the universe is progressive. Sometimes it stretches, but then when it lets go, man, that thing's going to travel swift and far. And let's just know that, not just for ourselves, but for the world in its totality. We don't change as we grow older. We just see ourselves more clearly in the big picture of life. Now, for a lot of our congregation, we have and I am praising our congregation because we're getting emails from congregants that are in their 80s and 90s who are logging in every day and watching those things. And I'm like, oh my God, you're using technology. I mean, you're doing better than I am half the time. But we don't change as we grow older. We start looking at things more clearly. We prioritize. And I think as every day that I go through this experience, I'm looking at what my priorities used to be and what they are now. And what I'm looking forward to. I was thinking about one of the things I'm really looking forward to that I really don't think about not having, because it's always been there, is just the ability to get on a plane and go see my sister and go see my nieces and my nephews and their kids. And I long for that time. And now, you know what? I need to make that a priority in my life, because I would get so busy doing other things that I wouldn't schedule the time to make a trip to take care of the family things that I really deep down truly miss now. They've come to the surface at that inner awakening process. That inside look brought to the surface some things I want to prioritize. So look, we don't just change as we grow older. We see ourselves more clearly in the big picture. This is your time, believe it or not. This is your time, and while things may not feel like the old past patterns, there is no normal, nor have there ever been a normal. There's only change and resistance to it, and then more change. When I reflect on things, my normal was never normal because it was always changing. I was always in a state of flux. You know, our livelihood, kids change, careers change, economies change, relationships change, health changes, financial patterns change. We were always in a state of there was no normal. The normal was change. The normal was change. Normal equals change now. I think that's the new thing, actually. Change is normal, and that is the absence of stagnant activities. It's not being stagnant. It's not allowing ourselves to just come to a screeching halt. It's allowing ourselves to actually begin the process by seeing any resistance to this is an invitation for me to move forward. It's an invitation for me to examine on the inside. So I got to find out what I'm resisting. Another thing, the only institution which totally rejects progress is the cemetery. There you go, right? Call Forest Lawn. The person who rejects change is the creator of delay and decay. Yeah, do you know them? Yeah, I dated one once, all right? Either die trying or just die. It's that simple. The only thing that's not changing is the only thing that doesn't reject people right now is the cemetery. You know, that's the final thing. And I don't think that's where we want to go. So the person who rejects change is the creator of a delay or a decay. You know, I'm always reminded what Michael Beckwith says, and I have to remind myself of this and people throughout this whole experience. A delay is not a denial. It's just a delay. Don't start to atrophy. Don't start to contract. Don't start to decay because things aren't happening at the speed you want them to happen. God knows that that was the case, we'd all be decaying, right? But we're not. We're in the process of reestablishing transformation in our own lives. So, you know, I like that. Either die trying or just die. Keep moving. Keep moving. Because once we reconcile ourselves to something, once we meet and invite that stagnant energy into our lives, we're not only just stopping, we're actually regressing. Because the rest of the world is moving and we're just moving backwards because they're moving ahead while we stay the same. Hope you follow that. Next thing, many lack faith in what exists within us because they lack faith in who exists within us. This time, it's not you. It's not me. Sometimes it feels like the individual is moving through this experience. And we forget that it's the God within us that's moving through this experience. That we are made in its image and likeness to express itself. And so sometimes from a selfish point of view, I look at things and I think, you know, damn, why am I going through this? Why am I having these ideas? Why am I having these thoughts? And then I think, okay, what is God trying to say by means of me in this moment? What am I supposed to recognize in this moment? Why am I resisting recognizing this as an opportunity to bust through something or to examine something? What is keeping me? What's the veil between me and it? I like the idea. Many lack faith in what exists within us because they lack faith in who exists within us. And it's that God self, it's that energy, it's that vibration, it's that frequency, it's it's the pulse of the Creator. It's the heart of the Creator continuing to try to nurture us and carry us through this. We forget that when we try to go at this alone. And no one's alone. You know what? If you're feeling alone, we had a staff meeting yesterday on Zoom. We have about 30, 35 of us get together every Tuesday, and we do a Zoom call. And I just want to honor one of our practitioners, Practitioner Brad Winkler. He's one of the Sensational 6 ministerial students. He said, if any of you are feeling alone or lonely, please email me. I want to make sure that you know that I'm out there. And I want you to know that the center is there for you. If you're feeling down and out and you're feeling alone, you don't have to feel that way. We've got a whole prayer ministry that is waiting to hear from you, and when you reach out to us, we will reach back out to you. But you have to take the first step. Just call the center or email us. You can go to the website and email us, or you can just call the center, and Elizabeth will, or whoever answers the phone, probably Elizabeth, she'll make sure that it is routed to somebody who's going to reach out to you. No one is alone in this unless you choose to be. And the choice is yours. We've tried to make our community as available as we can, given the circumstances which we have around us. And I believe, and I'm so proud of Jeff and Swing Point Media and Charles and Elizabeth and the whole team of people, Laura and Dale and everybody that's been working together to put us out there in the universe in ways that we've never been before. And I think that's essential to know that you're not alone, because who exists in my heart exists in your heart. And if you need to be connected, we have ways for you to connect. We don't want you to walk this path alone. That's why every day we're putting something out in a spiritual context, just for you to take a break in what's going on out there and focus on something else, and maybe grab a nugget in the process that makes your day a little bit better. And then you pass that on to someone else. You don't have to go at this alone. There's someone within us, and there are people out there available to you. Next thing, you are younger today than you will ever be again. Make use of it for the sake of tomorrow and the day after. That one statement has been sort of haunting me a little bit. I'll just be honest with you, because maybe you have felt this before. You know, while this process has happened since the middle of March, I have felt robbed of time. I have felt robbed of time and experiences that I had scheduled on my life calendar, you know? And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to repeat this day again. And that day was taken away from me. And then, damn it, I'm mad about it. And I get mad about it. And I'm thinking, I feel a great sense of loss about it. And then I realize I'm just going through a state of grief. I'm going through many states of the 7 steps of grief. I'm going through one of the states of grief where I'm just, mad and angry that something was taken away from me, but I can't go back and recreate those days. And then I realize what I'm doing is just make sure, Joe, that when you come out of this, you don't look back at regret for the days that you had while you had time to analyze things and didn't take advantage of it. And then go back into the life that's going to be beyond this and say, am I really taking care of the priorities that I set while I was in that time of inner reflection? So yeah, I'm going to be older when this thing, comes out. And yes, we're all going to see the true color of your hair. Ladies, I know you're begging for that, but we're going to see who you are. As soon as you can get into a haircut appointment, it's going to be a trip. But anyway, until then, here we are. This is as young as I'm going to be. And the days that have been, quote, taken away from me, I need to reframe that and say, gosh, you know what? I didn't get to do things on my schedule. But that doesn't mean I'm never going to get to them. It just means I'm going to get to them and have a different attitude while doing them. Next thing, remember, we are not asked to be our own transformers. We're asked only to surrender the thoughts and feelings that need transforming. I don't do the work. It's the God within that does the work. I just reveal the work that needs to be done, and I show up. And the universe will guide, sustain, and maintain me through the process, as long as I'm open and receptive and make movement on my part, mental movement. We're not asked to go out there and change everything. We're asked to be a participant, a co-creator in our own transformation. Changing this experience and allowing it to be a transformational experience in your life and in the life of the world that's out there is, to me, this unique opportunity. And I'm going to harp on it every week. And probably until I retire and I'm done, and I'll still keep talking about it. Because I believe that this opportunity has this time has given us an opportunity to create transformation, and we're asked to surrender the resistance and move in the thoughts and feelings that need to be transformed and put them into that place where the universe knows how to transform them and bring them back anew so that we can live in that conscious rightness again. Be renewed. We can be renewed by this idea. Closing with this, spiritual growth. Back to Marianne Williamson. Spiritual growth involves giving up the stories of our past so that we can write a new one. We're in the process. Every day that we're moving through this, there's a page to be written. Every day is not meant to be void of that. Every day is meant to have something written on it. Let's just say that. And for those people who go, this is just another day that looked like yesterday, then you haven't done anything to grow yourself into what you want to be when this chapter is over and when we're turning the page. So every day is an opportunity for you to experience transformation. You have to make yourself available to it. You have to make yourself open and receptive to it. You have to get out of your own way, which is the biggest thing, and just allow yourself to surrender those feelings and emotions to something that's transforming it, and you begin to write that path yourself. Those negative patterns don't need to direct us into the future of negative demonstrations. There's an opportunity here and now for you to experience that transformation. That's what we're about. Join us every day at 10 a.m. We're always up to something. Join us. Contact the center if you're feeling lonely. We have practitioners in the prayer ministry ready to help you. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. Another Sunday we're blessed by Dr. Joe's wisdom. He's particularly amped today. I mean, I feel the energy. Could you feel the energy? Thank you so much for that wonderful blessing. I'm so grateful to be able to not only be a minister here, but be a congregant here, to be a participant here and receive the wisdom that's so beautifully shared. So now is our time for our offertory, for a wonderful opportunity to financially support and bless this center. That since we all receive our spiritual food here, let's powerfully participate in the divine idea of circulation. As we give, we receive. As we receive, we give. Let's give powerfully today, shall we? We talk about giving powerfully, but I also want to ask you, have you received powerfully? Have you taken it in? So let's participate powerfully in this ritual and anchor it in a moment of prayer, that as we do have an idea, since we're sharing our gifts and our financial goodness virtually right now, if you have an idea of your tithe, of your offering, of your gift, of your sharing, conceive of that idea right now. And after the idea is conceived, breathe life into it. How do we breathe life into something? We're grateful for it. Grateful to share right now. I'm grateful to share right now. My gift. Not only in support of this Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert, but in support of my own life. For as I participate in spiritual law and spiritual principle, I am lifted, I'm matured, I take a deeper breath of life in. So I'm grateful for this time. I call it good. Together, let us say once again, and so it is. Amen. Hey, haven't we had just a magnificent service this morning together again? We're blessed by so much talent, so much rich consciousness, by our guest artists, by all the ways that the prayers, by all the ways that we participate together. It's so good. So let's one more time say a prayer of gratitude, shall we, as we leap off into our week. Let's, if you're watching with a beloved or a family member, I invite you to hold their hand. If you're by yourself, know that there is a hand holding your heart. There's a hand holding you. That is this center. I'm grateful for what's transpired during this service, for all the ways that we participate together, for the music, for the sacred word of Dr. Joe as he continues to lift us, for the prayers, for our communion, for the goodness and blessing of this center. I am so grateful. And I know, again, as we leap into our week, that we do with enthusiasm, that we don't call Forest Lawn, that we call upon the living Spirit to lift us and set us free. All negative is turned to positive. all challenge is turned to triumph. I'm grateful. It is good. What a day. We go forth and we prosper. And so it is. Amen. God bless you, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert. Have an extraordinary week. We'll see you every day at 10 a.m. Much love.